So, so dear diarrhea, diary full of shit. Just play along with myself, and I know what else. I'm so lit. Like I said, when I do these audio presentations, I listen to them. I make them, and then I listen to them to make sure the audio is like clear. Now that's just on my end. I could still end up posting it to YouTube, and there could be a fuck up between that connection, from me posting it to it being posted. But I just sort of take that as is. I don't listen to my. If I was going to do that, I would skip listening to it on my phone and just listen to it on YouTube. But that's just not how I do things. This is whatever. But I was talking about, I had mentioned I do better as far as going down these rabbit trails when I'm talking to another person. I can put a pin in it and come back to it and finish the thought. But I don't do it very well when I'm just spewing all this, all my thoughts come into my head while I'm just talking to myself on my iPhone. And the reason I think that is, and I just realized that right now, is because when you're talking to another person, they interject and they offer their opinion, and you follow that particular rabbit trail, either until completion or to a more, you just pursue that rabbit trail for a bit. And then it's like anything else that you may have wanted to go back to is either just lost, or, like I said, maybe it's because you're not just, thinking about things. A lot of people's minds race, and I'm one of those people. My mind's race. I do kind of have a tendency to skip over shit. I've said that before. If I'm relaying a thought, it is not uncommon for me to forget information that is fairly pertinent, or whatever the word is, to that message that I'm trying to portray. And vice versa, if I'm trying to ask questions from people, I frequently forget to ask key questions and phrases that will give me the information that I need. And I walk away with, 95% of the information that I needed, but not 100. And that's why it's important to, if you've got an important thing, to figure out or get information on, write it down. And a lot of times things materialize out of thin air on the spot, and you don't have the wherewithal or the thought process, or the, mental makeup to be able to get what you need. Maybe you focus too much on, key paragraphs, because you can't say much in a sentence, but you can say a lot in a paragraph. So somebody might say something, and you might be like, "Oh yeah, 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 cool, cool, okay, awesome, yeah, yeah, cool," or whatever. And it's like, no, 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 you forgot some shit, man. You needed to ask him some more shit, but you forgot that because you got too on the hook and too focused on the shit that he or she said that was like, you know, rang a bell with you. So, and that's just part of, just the human condition. So, and I'm bad about that because know thyself, know thyself, know your enemy better. I'm not sure if that's a phrase, but it probably is. And keep your friends close and keep your enemies closer. Is that a phrase? Why would you want to keep your enemies closer? I don't know. No, I think that's kind of a bullshit phrase. That's one of those, because human beings like to kind of tend to simplify life because life is kind of complicated. Not only just the situations and policies and procedures in life, but human beings. And like I said in the previous audio presentation, those policies and procedures, they came from the minds of human beings. So, things could be purposely confusing. Things could be, leaving room for a loophole or something that you're going to skip. Things could be like designed, simple things like, casino procedures or buffet procedures. How, you got, they want you to load up on simple carbohydrates, with the big, spoon and the small spoon. But then when you eat the crab legs and the steak, it's like a tiny little fucking fork, and shit. And there's like psychology things, that come into play. Not to sound like a fat fuck, but that's this is, I stumbled across that like fuck years ago, but it's like okay, you know, and they're betting on just people following. They're like, ooh, oh shit, and then we're gonna better get some of that, and just whatever. And then you've got people who figure it out, who are like, fuck that shit. I'm skipping all that shit. I'm going to regular crab legs. And a lot of times, is stuff that, is high priced tickets like that. They have someone who serves you. It's like everybody gets 6 crab legs and that's it. Move it along, pal. And you can come back. It's just this is all you get at one go. And then if you want to come back, or maybe you're some sort of genius who grabbed 2 plates or whatever. I don't know. I haven't been to a buffet in forever. I love buffets, by the way. It's because I was an old man even when I was like in my teens. It's like fucking hey man, this shit's awesome. You got the soft serve ice cream center, and all that shit. Oh, this is set up in a way for the house to always win. It sounds good to me. Let the house win, man. So anyway, Katie Boo, I hope you like buffets because seeing as I'm geriatric as fuck and you're entering, geriatricville, although you sure as hell don't look it, that's going to be something that we enjoy, on a Sunday afternoon, is the buffet. So, shit. Hope you got all your having fun years out of the way. Shit, like that one chick. I've had so much fun. I'm done having fun. I've probably had too much fun. I'm not even into you. It's just my friend said that you were looking to like settle down, so I figured whatever. Holy shit. But and that jackass, he busts out his phone like a fucking punk. I better get this shit on camera, man, because yeah. It's like everybody knows the game. They don't need one more video from your ass. You just lost all credibility. Especially if that's something that you're going to use to maybe meet somebody is social media. Because now your punk ass is out there, uh, 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 no, really? Wow, so you're kind of like a hoe and shit, ain't you? Okay. You're just making yourself look bad, you weak ass motherfucker. That's to be expected from her. I mean, good luck with her shit. She's this shallow cornflake. Hey, whatever, upwards and onwards. Good luck. Maybe you'll figure that shit out. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll figure it out, but it'll be too late. Maybe you won't. But it's like, are you serious about finding a relationship and whatever your tactics are? I don't know. Maybe you should, keep your composure, not bust out your phone as a modern goddamn fucking, current year piece of shit and get it on fucking record. Because that's like a chick thing. That's female behavior. That's not man behavior. That's bitch behavior. That's blue pill simp behavior, but that's not man behavior. I say that because I just watched a video from Mr. Pellet talking about judges, and somehow you can get judges, who are male judges who are kind of on the puss side of things, but it's female thinking. So I will admit, that I just recently learned that, series of sentences stringed together to make a short paragraph to portray a thought that I just had, stating, is it masculine behavior or is it feminine behavior? So I must borrow, some conceptual communication tactics. Like I said, I did work for the CIA for 2 weeks, or was it a month? I don't remember. 2 weeks. I worked for them for a minimal amount, and they were like, "Oh, dude, you're the shit," except for that moral flexibility thing. But Um, and again, they were like, well, could you train people? Do you have to ask that? Would pay you 500 million a year. Mm-hmm. This is for national security, you say? Anyway, I just make shit up. Sounds like it could be a scene in a movie, doesn't it? But anyway, um, so yeah, keep your phone in your fucking pocket, dude. If you're out on a date, you know, put at least put it on vibrate. If not, turn it. Keep it on you in case you need to call the cops or something, right? But you know, shit, man. You bust out your phone. Okay, I'm dating a hoe. Yeah, you're the man. You know, you really put that down. You're holding the high ground, dude. You know, getting that shit on camera. Oh, come on, man. Anyway, whatever. That's just me. I'm old school. You know, I think different. So, really, you're acting like a bitch trying to expose a bitch. Okay, all right. But anyway, I just thought of that. See, I remembered that. I don't have any problems retrieving that. I remember what the hell I was talking about. Why do I for some reason do better, you know, going down rabbit trails and being able to retrieve that information versus if I'm just spewing it. And I do believe that's why. Plus, it just has more value. Value, yeah. You know, so there's like a psychology opponent to that because the human brain works like a million miles a minute. It really does. Versus if you're talking to a real person in real life, there's more pressure, you know, to not come off as a scatterbrain. And there's all these subconscious, and when I say subconscious, I do mean subconscious. You are not aware of it. You might think of it later or become aware of it, but in the moment, unless you make the conscious effort to become aware of that shit, there's a reason it's called subconscious. But it's pretty predictable, you know. And this is shit that I've always known. This isn't me because there's that dude. I forget his name. It's like David Busante or something like that. He's this dude. He's got like shoulder length, wavy hair, and he's fucking crazy smart. And he was CIA, you know, and he wasn't like one of these badasses kill you with a toothpick type of CIA dudes. But you know, whatever the hell he did, I don't even remember. You know, but I don't watch a whole lot of him, but every now and then, if something will pop up, I'll watch it. And then I might watch two or three more videos, you know, from him. And it's really interesting. You know, and I remember that movie. What was it called? The Recruit with Al Pacino and I don't remember his name. You know, and it's like okay, you know, it's you know interesting stuff. You know, and apparently, you know, it's been compromised, you know, because you've got low caliber people, and don't forget there's groupthink, and everybody has a career that they have to keep in mind, you know, and you know, the CIA, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, is not the CIA of what it used to be. You know, it's compromised. It's not focusing on the greater good. You know, it's focused on my pussy hurts. Um, I am spewing, you know, blood and yet have, you know, just all kinds of feelings and emotions going on at the same time. And it's just kind of an overload of, you know, vaginal, um, you know, events, you know, that are affecting the way that I'm fucking feeling and thinking the world, you know, male or female, whether you physically have a vagina or whether you just are a vagina. Um, and everybody knows that masculinity is what keeps the world, you know, sane. Femininity equals chaos. Now the thing is with masculinity, you've got egos and stuff, and then you've also got your tactical shit, as far as posturing and positioning and what and stuff that is kind of a necessary evil. But there's kind of a lot of times, it's like, do we really need to do this? Do we really need to strong arm this as much as we need to, or maybe we can kind of finesse this a little bit? And that's just sort of a dance that you have to do. And like I said, you're in a room full of a bunch of people and no one person. You're not a king, so you've got the group mentality. So eventually, you sort of settle with the lowest common denominator, and shit happens the way that it does. But anyway, let's see, I'm at 15, 16 minutes in, so guess that's all I gotta say, baby. I swear. Because, like I said, I live beside myself, right? So, yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell a friend and all that shit. Like I said, that's not actually my goal. I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't want legitimate viewers. So it's like, why do you do this? Is it for the that targeted group of the secret fan club? So that in and of itself opens up another question. Why would you not want any legitimate viewers, but just want to focus, on your secret fan club? You know, and I guess the only answer that I could think of off the top of my head, without, like I said, there's more to the story. There's subconscious underlying layers that you might not be aware of at first. So it's not just, well, let me give me time to think of a reasonable excuse. It's like sometimes it's legitimate. It's like, I never thought of that, but now that I have thought about that, I guess, yeah, this, that, and the other. And I guess that's sort of where I'm at, as this shit just sort of came about, with the whole, like I said, I'm not sure what my settings are on YouTube, but if you subscribe and shit, this, that, and the other, and maybe, the Didlo. What? Who the fuck is the Didlo? Oh my God! If I could meet a man like that, because like I said, I spew some pretty serious shit. I'm not claiming to be a man. I'm a bitch boy, but I wouldn't say it wasn't true. But you know, I guess that could make sense. So I'm at 18 minutes. That's a wrap, folks. Shit, man. It's stupid. I waste so much time, especially if you accumulate it, add it up. I guess no harm, no foul. What would I have been doing anyway, right? Because I make the time, right, to do like productive shit, but it's like, well, I'm just fucking. I guess no harm, no foul. It's all good, sorta, whatever. But then there's the mental aspect of it. Again, nothing is cut and dry. Everything's complicated. Everything has layers. What else could you have been doing? I don't know. Vacuum the floor. Go outside, and walk to the mailbox and get your mail instead of, stopping by in your car and grabbing it. Maybe pull some weeds, around your. It's winter, so that's not really a problem right now. But what else could you have been doing other than spewing horse shit on your phone with a white circle with a red square in it and posting it to YouTube? As if that's going to get some sort of payoff. They're not paying me. I'm not monetized. I'm not looking for validation. You know, I mean, like I said, sometimes I'll get 0 views, 1 view, fucking 400 views in like the course of 2 weeks. You know, a consistent. I have noticed that. You know, where you know I might get like 2 to 6 views daily on a particular video. And I don't know if that's something to do with like the don't forget to like and subscribe thing. That might be Katie Boo. Trying to say, hey, yeah, this is what's up. Okay, okay. See, the thing is, the level of investment in this is different between me and you, girly girl. I talk a good game, but it is not important to me. And I have a lot more options. You don't. You are at the end of your fertility window. Honestly, Katie Boo, her beauty window, she's got a lot of time because she looks fucking phenomenal. But her fertility window, that's a different game. So, and that's why I've said that. Say, hey, I am free and clear. I am completely off the hook. I have no moral responsibility whatsoever. So if you meet a dude, at some fucking, I don't know if she's the type who would go to bars or not, but some sort of venue, where maybe you meet a dude, you kind of hit it off. Hey, let's pursue this a little further. It's like a go for it. I don't want to. I'm trying to remove myself from the moral responsibility. It's just what it is. It's just stupid. Because I'm just a troll. I don't do that shit. And this is completely utter fucking bullshit. And all 3 of those are 3 separate, statements. So, like I said, in I believe it was my last audio presentation, maybe it was one before that, I've stepped away from life. I don't participate in life. I've removed myself from society for the most part. And it treats me good. And I'm not going to, there's nothing that's going to happen. We good. So, but, anyway, so I'm just talking shit. Just another audio presentation for the record books. So, like I said, my future bestie Cool Breeze. Like in theory, that's a good thing that could actually like work out. No, you don't understand. I'm not interested in that shit. Hey man, next time you're coming through, swing on by, man. If you need a place to stay, we'll go hiking or fishing. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll hit you up, bro. Fuck. Anyway. Have a good day with your ass now, sweet, sweet Katie Boo. Sweet Katie Boo. See, I think about you. But it's like on a man, it just costs a lot less. Yes, it's pathetic, but not really. Versus you, it's like everything you do as a female of the human species is a super high stakes game. It's good to be a fucking dude in this world, dude. A male of the human species, man. We got it fucking good. Chicks don't. They gotta get it all figured out and all worked out and all aligned, and they're thinking about the 10-year game, the 20-year game, the 30-year game. They gotta get that all figured out. Within honestly the first 5 years of their adult life. Oh man. Anyway.